Good afternoon. That's a bit. I'm gonna put that there. Do you hear okay? Do you hear okay? Anyway, welcome to the friendly Westwood Village Rotary Club. Event established. And welcome to those who are online. See Tia, see Chris Bradford. I saw Sherry there. I guess he dropped off momentarily. I believe Mark Rose was on as well. And oops, Diane. Oh, and there's Christine and Sharon, Steve Shear as well. Wonderful.
Who was the 3-1
Oh, I don't know. There. And Diane, it's not moving. The image is not moving.
You guys handling that?
Oh, Tia, you're handling it? Okay, so okay, can you move to the next slide, Tia? Thank you. And well, as I said, welcome to those zooming in. Continuing on. We all know our theme this year. It has 17 days of life before we go to show match the Rotary. As this year's theme is Great Hope in the World. Moving on to the next slide. Today is an interesting day. It's 2 days. It's our 2 national days. One is National Kitchen Klexes of America Day, otherwise known as the husbands. And the other is National, oh, I got this backwards, officer. It was supposed to be National Garden Your Weed Day. No, actually, it's National Weed Day. That was my little funny. Yes, anyway, moving on. The 4-way test and the things we think, say, or do. Who can see it from there, Diane?
I know it's not really in focus.
By the way,
Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to thank Ed Jackson for being our greeter today. Thank you. And our guest today will be led by Bill. Bill? Flag to the back of the room. Right, please stand. And over your heart.
they're gonna say that, ready? Ready? Yeah. And play with the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Under God.
Thank you, Bill. Shake that. And our thought of the day by Pastor.
At the wine tasting party, Rose Gaynor and O'Keefe and I were talking about different things about religion. And what I'd like to emphasize today is, I really think all religions are the same in their simple philosophy. It's love one another, be each other's brothers and sisters, and be service and peace among country. So I want to emphasize service though. We just did the 4-way test. Service is a many have heard me say over the years that Rotary's really only second relate. But what we were laughing about in our discussion of the wine tasting was, I recited the Baltimore Catechism. I don't mean to push Catholicism on anybody. They can learn this in 2nd and 3rd grade and maybe your first college year. But you can just rattle it off. Who made me? God made me. What is God? God, the supreme being who made all things. Why did God make you? God made me to know him, love him, and serve him in this world. So there it is, the service. We have Rotary service. We need service in the world today. We want to never wars and what have you. And I've been looking on wonderful AI this morning. Jews, Christians, Muslims, all believe in the same concept of God. There is one supreme being who teaches us all across all religions to be of service to one another. And with our teacher today, I would remind you that the LAPD motto is to protect and to serve. The CHP's motto is to provide safety, service, and security.
Okay, and past President Head will lead us in our song today.
There it is.
Before we understand the song, I just had a question. I got a call from Sally Phillips. And she is, I think, a former member, or her husband was. And she is apparently doing work with people who have Parkinson's, and she remembers that the Westwood Village Rotary had some kind of a program for Parkinson's. Is that anyone recall? Because she would like whatever information we have, because she's working at a nursing home, I think, with people with Parkinson's, and I think they had some kind of an exercise regime, among other things. Do you know what
She called me a couple of times, I haven't been able to get back to her.
Okay.
I believe she's now living at the assisted
Okay.
facility. And believes, apparently there's a lot of parking. She remembered it was, Leo thing, the oldest thing. Henry, I'm sorry, I was just the name. Henry, lived into over 100, was a member of this club forever, and was at the YMCA every morning at 6, doing exercises, and he and the Y put together a program called Parkinson Plus. We took it to many Rotary International conferences. I was just asking Ron, and he believes that the Y has taken the whole thing over, but I was trying to get the Y to find her the film, because she wants to be able to use the film of living.
What? Sure, you're taking over this.
Well, I'm just gonna try to find the film, I don't even know if it's still.
Okay. Can we stand for the song, please?
Well,
Okay. Okay, and since we've had June gloom and now we have some sun, I thought song about sunshine would be appropriate. And I put on the hat I wear when it's sunny. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy with your name. Other night here, I'm sleeping. I mean, I have looked you with my heart. When I awoke here, I was the Savior, and I hung my head in honor. Thank you.
We on the agenda. Okay. Oh, thank you, Pat, for doing this drive today. And moving on. Visiting Rotarian. I don't know if we have any visiting Rotarians. We do have our two speakers. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. Oh, well, yes, yes, Sam, I'm very sorry. Laura, he's a Rotarian, and the good news is, Sam is now process, and we're now in the 15-day period where if you have something you want to say about Val and Sam, which you better not, you're really in trouble. But seriously, Sam and Val will be members effective July 1st. But he is he and Val are Rotarians. Okay, there you go. What do you think? Okay. All right. Anyone object? No objection. But that period is 15 days. So anyway, welcome. And guest the Rotarians. We do. I have a guest today. I'm a past member of the club, so I have a Rotarian, Sandy Weisberg, with us today. We can share a bit about this Rotary scholarship experience, ambassador scholar. He was in Israel in 73, 74, or 72, 73, Sandy? What year? 73, 74. It's a fascinating story. He was sponsored by Westside Village and came back and he actually became a member of our club. So thanks for coming, Sandy. Thank you very much. Moving right on. Oh, before we have this, I'm going to share something with everyone. So we had some of Ben and I received fortunate news. Marcia emailed the two of us earlier this week, and Marcia has breast cancer. And yes, and it came as a shock to her. She feels she's healthy and in good spirits, and she expects a recovery. Over the next 6 months or so, she should be 100% back, and she's expecting to fulfill her Rotary obligations next spring or next winter. There's going to be a presidential peace conference in Istanbul. Marcia's going to make a point of being there. She's very happy we have all. She's in our thoughts and prayers, and she's surgery's going on right now as we're speaking. So I think maybe we can just take a moment, just think about our past president, Marcia. Each year, Marcia has done such outstanding work in Uganda and now Ukraine. Person beloved by her employer and employees. Marcia. Thank you. This is what she said. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to read a couple of lines. She says, "I feel grateful they discovered it at this stage of the game. Have a good meeting, and remember, I am still a Rotarian. All of this is just part of life. It will all be in the rearview mirror and forgotten about. And remember, above all, we must realize that each of us makes a difference with our life. Each of us impacts the world around us every single day. Looking forward to having you back at Rotary meetings. She's hoping to participate by Zoom as early as maybe early July. Okay, last Saturday, a group of us went to the Meals on Wheels facility, and we participated in our Walk the Help and Hunger. And Gordon, would you like to share a few comments about the meeting, about the event last Saturday?
Yeah, speaking your knowledge of that, wait a second. Microphone, you can just speak.
Yeah, Gordon is about to use.
Thank you very much. Oh, no.
Gordon is about to use our newest piece of technology, a wireless mic. So I can stand up here making noises. We can have the mic passed around the room, and he can be heard by Gordon.
People can even hear me. Can you hear me back there? Okay, great. Speaking of Marcia, I was going to say Marcia helped us with our walk last Saturday morning for about 10 or 12, I would say, we walked in during the Glen neighborhood with volunteers from Meals on Wheels and other neighbors to promote what our mission is, which is to feed the people who can. get to a restaurant or can't, otherwise get food. Including veterans, Steve and Marshall were there, I was there, I was there, somebody else from our.
Back, we on to the next picture, please.
Oh, there we go. Oh, and Marshall's sister. Sunglasses, correct?
Yeah, Melissa.
Okay, and we had lunch with her, and now
Yeah.
anyway, we plan to try to work together with Meals on Wheels a little bit more. Three of us, including Dwight, are on the board. We saw last week. You don't see her very often in our meetings. She's the executive director and then delivery meals at the time that we were having our meeting. And that's all I have to say.
Well, that's great, Gordon. Besides the $1,000 that was raised through Rotary, through our donation last week, I think they raised a fair amount last
Yeah,
Saturday.
I don't know yet. I asked that question.
Oh, okay.
They're still counting.
Yeah, okay, but I look forward to us participating in some fashion next year too. I've often thought of it, it's a lot of fun, so maybe we'll put that on the calendar as a service project. Like we did, we went down to Barry and Rob's and had lunch, and we actually saw Moose Van, spent some time with him, his wife, and his wife, you know, on the stairs. But thank you, Gordon.
I still like it's time to Sergeant Moore. And
Just walk it over to the Kevin Crane. Oh, Jim Crane, okay, Jim Crane, look at you. Okay, moving on. Okay, anyone, Gianna?
Oh, I got another thing.
Okay. This Saturday is another one of our fabulous Westwood community cleanups. We're gonna be meeting at Westwood Transition Village today, everybody. I hope we get a good turnout. It'll be my last cleanup while I'm president, so I'll have a special meeting for me. Anyway, so, that'll be this Saturday. Hey, is there anything I can, wanna add to that?
No, just we need more people, so if you have some free time on Saturday morning, please let me know.
Yeah, great. I mean, right now, I know Jim, you're gonna be there, Jim Grant's gonna be there, and you are, and I'm gonna be and Janet, and Chris Standers gonna be there. Anyone else gonna be there Saturday morning? Just gonna be. Okay, Jim's gonna be twice. No, that's great, thanks, Jim. And reach out to those big, reach out to those who say forward. That, yeah, it looks like Sam and Val.
Yeah, that's what he
No, great. Oh, nice, great. No, we'll get a big group out of it. Thank you. Next week, my last meeting. And I need to do is bring up next Thursday that you're gonna sell to a fellow Rotarian. As happened in the past, it's $10. The one aspect is you don't have to pay anything, donate. That part's been jettisoned. So please bring a book that really means something to you, that you think your fellow Rotarians would be interested in buying, reading or buying. So that's next Saturday. And then next Saturday, I'm just seeing some parties going on. If you have to, I don't know where things stand with RSVPs and all that, so I presume RSVPs are still expected on certain people who haven't yet done it, maybe not, maybe it's all taken care of. All I know is, okay.
Those of you who want to enjoy promoting Steve and promoting me to the fun event, we have to choose. No, you don't. Get it to, please RSVP. And by the way, you're gonna get billed for dinner, so you might as well enjoy it. And bring your spouses and significant others, because it's going to be one fantastic. That Steve has no idea about.
All right, moving on. Ben, a few comments about your sojourn to the RI convention in Singapore and trip to Japan.
I have 3 banners to present to you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Part of it I'll go over. I was sitting next to the district governor of the fine city of Taipei, or country of Taipei. And he reminded me 2 years from now, the international convention. And he gave us this banner. So here's one. And when I was in Japan, we attended 2 Rotary clubs. One in Kofu, which is Makiko home club. And they warned, you'll see some photos, but there were over 200 people there. And it was an exciting time being with people. The only commonality, because they did not speak English at all, was that we were all Rotarians. And that speaks the world. So that's another one. And then we also were at a club in Hiroshima. And it was, as Chris mentioned, if any of you have ever been there, when you go to the Peace Park and you're sitting there at the memorial, it's dead silence. It's eerie. I got very emotional because I was thinking about what's going on in the world around us. This should be an example to everyone. Never use bomb. It's impacting these people forever. So those are great. And Tia, go. Here's some slides that she loaded on. Oh, here we are. So this is Singapore and the start of our trip. And I want to thank this group of people, wonderful people, for giving us an opportunity to represent our club. It was an exciting time. 14,000 of us were there together. And the most important thing, the House of Friendship was mindful. It was like 3 times the size of anything I've ever seen. So many warm people. We talked about new projects to do. So we're going to do rollouts and stuff as time goes on. And then when I got onto the subway, this was People of Action, and it was all over Singapore. They put signs everywhere about Rotary. It was nice to be involved. Next slide. So this is a garden that we attended, and this is my wife Susan and 2 other Rotarians in the House of Friendship. God, it was wonderful. And by the way, the theme of the Rotary International Convention was women's rights and women in the world. And it's exciting. They talked about moms and how they have impacted all of us to not forget. So continue. And rapidly go. This is me with the district governor of Taipei. This is me and Susan with a gentleman from Tanzania. And I wish I could show you the bracelet he gave me, but it broke. So I'm having it fixed. Beautiful. Guys, very cool. Continue. Do you recognize this gentleman? Gordon McInerney. So we had Brenda, who's the new president-elect, or the new president of LA5, myself, had lunch with Gordon the last day of the president's lunch. We were asked, would you like to sit with him? I go, does it mean I have to leave early? That's so we had a wonderful time. It's really nice to be with him. He's such a warm man. He's not pretentious at all. His wife is very lovely as well. So it was nice spending time with him. Continue. This is our meeting in Hiroshima with the president, and this guy, Kiko, gave this man a Shoshei Otani. This guy went nuts. He was like a comedian. As funny as this guy looks, in my opinion, he's even funnier as a human being. And he's the president of Kofu chapter of where we visited. So continue. This is Chris. What is that place called?
10,000 Tory Gates.
10,000 Tory Gates. Phenomenal. This is when was this built? Because it's like the 1500s. And it's,
There's literally 10,000 gates that go all the way up the mountain.
right,
You come around all the way down. And it's extraordinarily impressive.
so by the way, my knee is acting up, and so I only walked it there. Susan walked a little bit farther, it was really nice. Now we're in Japan. Go on. Okay, this is the club that we all were involved in. It's pixelated, but this is all of our, there's over 200 people at that. They've been very warm and gracious. Yeah, and this was Kiko's Japan trip. So it was a wonderful experience. The only drag in that one, it's like like Wild Wild West, when you have a cap that's you have to bring in. That's the way the trip felt the whole time. Somebody was, shot in the bathroom. We had a lot of it. Continue. I think that might be it. So Kiko and I, and this was in the park in Singapore. I want to tell you, Marcia Hunt put together something that is maybe going to be impactful for the rest of our lives. Russia and Ukraine spoke with 5 mediums for the first time since the school ever, and they were in a closed door meeting with the idea of bringing love to the world and how do they bridge this. And I don't know the results, but this took a lot of arm twisting. They both agreed, and nobody came out with a punch. I didn't see any black eyes. So, and continue. Okay, we're good. Thank you, guys.
Like you had a great time. Okay, see you next one. Quickly, birthdays this month, Janet Schwartz on the 9th, John O'Keefe on June 19th, and past President Steve Shearer on June 21st.
Is that fine?
They have, and of course, we find, just we do. Anniversaries this month, Jim and Eleanor Meyer. Congratulations. Yes, Ed.
Because I was married and she was, why is my name up?
It was, I'll double check it, but I'm not. Yeah, and what did you and Matthew get married? And what year was that?
Yeah, married going on 63 years.
Congratulations.
He forgot to wear his hat at the wedding. I was there, so I was the older.
1961. Oh, so Jim beat you by about 18 days. But congratulations, and I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I'll check when I get home.
Yeah, you gotta get these things complete.
No, I'm gonna try to do better on the upcoming dates. And if it's not there, I'll make sure.
But by the way,
Yeah.
you only have one more meeting. I'll do better.
Okay. And then, so anniversaries, is that, yeah. And then folks joining Rotary, Chris Bradford on 12th in 2003, John O'Keefe, June 25th, 2009, Scott Little, 1st of June on 2014, and
No.
Jim Meyer, I don't know, yeah, that's a mistake too. Jim, how many did you join Rotary? No, now we're talking about joining Rotary. When did you join? What year was that? That's okay, don't worry. I think it was around 2013, so I think it's my mistake there too. So anyway, those are all started, that's okay. So at this point, I'd like to introduce our speakers today. We have 2 speakers from the California Highway Patrol. We have Officer Patrolman Salas. I met Steve at the CHP Voice Response Drive at the it's called Vauxhall Mall. I'm gonna say it's that. And there, and I talked, and I enjoyed speaking with him, and I invited him to the club. We gathered quite a bit of waste. And also today we have Officer Charles Roque from CH. So, Steve's a 6-year veteran, Charles is a 7-year veteran, both are native Southern Californians, both are married. Charles has 2 children, Steve's, I'm sure to that. So at this point, Steve to come forward and I'd like to introduce Officer Patrolman Salas, California Highway Patrol.
First of all, thank Steve for reaching out and inviting me. It's been a pleasure. I don't know to see out here this whole time. Everybody's pleasant and friendly, so thank you for that. A couple of things I want to go over. Some topics with the CHP. Which you did perfect. Safety service here. Also, Officer OK, he's my partner. He's been on a little bit longer than me. He's a community outreach officer, so we work very closely. He doesn't have to come up here at this second, so he should have support. So first of all, what is the CHP, right? So the California Highway Patrol was established in around 1929. Essentially, with the production of vehicles, there was a need to start enforcing vehicle laws and such. So it was very confusing back in those times where we still kind of have it. You see nowadays, every city, every county has different laws and regulations. So there was a need from the state legislature to essentially create a state police, which they appointed the California Highway Patrol back to the state. So every CP officer has jurisdiction of the state. So that makes the state police. Every state pretty much has their version. They all have different. With that being said, for state police, right? So we don't just do traffic. All of that is, especially in LA County. That's where I worked my career. Right, here. Traffic is not going to be. So when I say traffic, it's just be summer fire collisions, water, danger, see everything. So we also the guys assist high speed chases, pursuits on TV. That's here, especially we're always saying pursuits, whether it's for a stolen vehicle, whether it's for that's with that being said, part of that is still making safe. So if it gets unsafe, then you might see a helicopter keeper heading up. It's not that we're waiting on the pursuit, but it's a helicopter safe. This person is going to slow or something. Jesus, safe. As you see, right now, there's so many. So we're always asked less or less things. See. Duties with what I do, so both Shasta and so it's but essentially my role in the department is to be the say the media relations officer where there's a big scene, such as a protest or when we have a major fatality, I'm the person that the media is going to call, or I'm the person that remembers. So that's what gets disseminated to the public. That's kind of a main role. So things happen at all times. Week, day, night, so kind of always working, so to speak. We also have as the PIO grants that we do. So grants that the state will say, here's X amount of budget to focus on X amount of issues. So I can just give you an example. We have all track, right? So that would be is I'm kind of in charge of one doing presentations where I talk about the dangers of driving distracted, go to different companies like I've got like Amazon, LA District Water Power, all sorts of schools give these presentations. We try to educate the public. A lot of people don't realize how they might see it like, oh, it's not a big deal, everybody's doing it. But you actually start to interact with people in the community. It does seem to click once you show videos, real life situations, what can happen. Right? With that being said, we also have other events like Chips for Kids, that's big. Thank you all, by the way, because that donation is Rotary Club here. So usually members, employees, kid that solutions, otherwise, so look to this, nonprofit organization. So we collect people like you, people in the community, other clubs will essentially get on to kids, and that's really special. I like doing stuff like that. We're helping out, truly helping the community on different levels, but we are big also right now. Recruitment, like I said, we love bodies. If anybody here knows, like, hey, I know maybe somebody that might be interested, definitely reach out to me. Steve has my contact info, and I don't mind sharing my contact info. We're always looking for candidates, people for the bad, serve the community for the right reasons. That's something, like I said, that big on right now. We have a big push for hiring. Let's see. So another thing we want to do too is just be known like what exactly like they say but that's actually not true. So I'm sure you've seen that's my how to control the city streets. We do a lot of work with the county. So even in this area here, Wilshire, Sloboda, that's part of our area, the veterans area. So if something happens, like an accident, it could even be just a vehicle stuck in lanes. There's also stuff that can happen. That's something that we have babies that are actually that will go and land. So there's a lot of areas that just stuff in the highway. I think just to kind of do a broad landscape of what I had, but I'm definitely open to some more Q&As. If anybody has questions, I'll definitely be here to answer. Sir.
A couple of questions. Oh, gotta get the mic. Like everybody here. I've noticed increased speeding on the freeway. Specifically in the last 24 months, that's where I've seen not one or two cars, maybe 2 or 3 cars that are going at a pace that's alarming. I don't know if you noticed it, but when my wife and I sit around dinner, she can't believe what I just saw on the freeway today. So that's something that I would be very interested in hearing what you do about it. What do you do about motorcycles? I don't know how you go after motorcycles. Because, occasionally I'll talk to someone and I sort of wink to them, I say, you see a highway patrol officer, what do you do? They say, well, I disappear. And I don't know how you go after someone who doesn't want to be caught on a motorcycle, so perhaps you have some insight on it.
Yeah, great question. So, it's interesting you say that, like, just even I've been on forever, 6 years, it's not that long, it's like, but I noticed, saw, like, after COVID, growth was here, people driving, wanting to see 100 plus. So we noticed that speed, like, has so that is true, it's that. Obviously, kind of a little bit answer would be one, we try to go after what we can, right? We have people that, let's just put it this way. If we're working day shift, usually traffic stops, it's hard to go fast, usually line of you see past the and those are the people that have those all the time, in the sign where it's selling some we're going after those vehicles actively. We have for about last week, the lady was going about 90 stop go traffic down 60 and 45 started over, we don't even think about it, they're chasing that vehicle. I'm streamlining the story. Really new. One of the passengers has an event bike, he's sprinting out the freeway, he becomes a huge support, she attacked the officers. These are the type of people we deal with, day to day. So these are the type of people, this is not normal behavior. But we did stop that person, right? So that person actually went to the gas station. I say all that to say we go after what we can. Usually at places is where we have sort of a high speed chasing because there's less traffic, cars are going faster just naturally, and they want to run because they say, hey, screw it, he's not gonna catch me. A lot of the times, like I said, you might not see us, but with motorcycles, a car cop, so to speak, car cop is not gonna be able to catch up, right? Motorcycles splitting lanes, we won't be able to catch up. However, let's say we get a plate or somebody calls it in, that's if you call the public, you get a license plate, we put out what's called broadcast, and then any officer in that area can be on the lookout. We have actually successfully had, we always have, especially in LA, we always have airship, so whether it's the plane, the helicopter, even if you don't see them, those cameras will easily be able to track those plates, and we can do all of them. We had, too long ago, so we had a guy motorcycle, he was practice driving through this area, through the 405 Venice, Wilshire. He would split lanes, and then he would specifically push the cars, mirrors, like even the tops, like he would slam their mirrors and stuff like that. So this was going on for weeks, and eventually somebody was able to get a description of the motorcycle, description of this person. We had the airship overhead, we were able to track to his house and the rest. Yeah, something like that. We call it a single practice driver. Even if we don't catch that specific time, eventually they get caught. Yeah, so for something like that, we have detectives essentially, they're like our value hunters that they'll follow up, and they'll go back on the log, right, so they'll track all of these times that this person has been called, all these times that the officer had video of this person hit, essentially. They'll form a case, they, right? So they eventually put all this. As warrant out of the table. I'm not sure if that is about.
The question is what happened?
It depends exactly what it is. If you're going to find the, well, it's misdemeanor, signing of jail.
I have a question. I think this straight for 100 years ago. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Not sure if I understand how to coordinate. LA City Police, Santa Monica Police, and Beverly Hills Police. Could you explain how you do?
Yeah, so let's just say, I mean, this is, I'm just gonna go an example. So Santa Monica PD, let's say they'll call us. First of all, our radios, our dispatchers, they have a direct line. So if I ask Katie to call my pursuit or freeway, and then I end up in Santa Monica City, and then the party's a football, he's a Hispanic and adult wearing a black hoodie, last thing wearing, westbound, the Olympic, Fifth Street, whatnot. Our dispatch will relay that to the Santa Monica dispatch, and their officers are essentially able to get the same call. So that's like something where it's like pressures. If it's something where it's like, hey, we're not necessarily rush, right? Not like a cool emergency, it's hey, we're planning for something, then that's something where, the captain of each station, they'll get together, they have meetings, and they'll work together to devise the plan, essentially to deploy the troops to do like a steam operation or something like that. Day to day, we always work with LAPD. The way it's very confusing in this county, the way it is there's so many police departments or police agencies within LA County that everybody has certain jurisdiction, right? So at some point, you're gonna have border calls, and we have that all the time, especially in state where hey, this is, if it happens here, it's Culver City, but if it happens here, it's LA City, but if it happens here, it's CHP, so we deal with that all the time. And we're just used to it, we're just used to working with the other agencies, we'll roll up on scene. We always pretty much just help each other out with whatever we can, but ultimately, whoever's jurisdiction it is on paper, be the one doing the investigation, that makes sense. So.
Thank you. So we are currently in the city, Costa Rica, and a phenomenon that we've seen here happening a lot, and it's something you guys do with, are the street takeovers. So I don't know if you can explain a little bit of how does that happen, if you deal with it, and how you.
Good question. So yeah, so the street takeovers, essentially, with social media and too many movies and Fast and Furious, everybody thinks they're, street racers. So essentially what happens is these groups, they're on, mostly on social media, they'll post, hey, be here on Crenshaw and 20th on Saturday at 8 p.m. right? So then all these people on social media, they start sharing it, start to put the word out, and then essentially they'll all meet up. So once they meet up, and these are hundreds, at minimum hundreds of cars, they'll take over with state takeovers, they'll block the intersections, and essentially what they do is they'll have like sections, right? So like people will be, doing donuts in the middle of the intersection. And what really affects then you have all people watching, the spectators that are reporting this, they're, a lot of them are getting hit by the stars, because these people don't know what they're doing, they don't know how to drive. So they're not only is there all that, people are getting seriously injured, if not killed, going to these events, but also local traffic, right? People that are stuck at the gas station, people that are stuck at, you know, they have to take from somewhere, and they can't, they've been taken over by that street. So what we do, normally for those, one, we get airship, mostly all the time in those. So we're able to have the, you know, pilots telling us, hey, we have this many cars, this car with this plate, you know, they're doing the donuts right now. Where if he takes full bail, when it's this car, and we get it that way. The main thing for us, obviously, we're limited on resources, so we can't catch every car. So we'll try to go out to the main cars, right? Try to go out to the main cars that are not starting it, and we'll essentially chase those. But the main thing is we are in this intersection. So generally, 9 times out of 10, we'll just show our presence, and then we'll start putting lights and sirens on, and the cars kind of self-dissipate. But then those, so they'll go from grades, and they run French off, 20 minutes an hour, in west. To give you an example, but we also, the department has actively done street racing training. We have deployments. It's not every day, unfortunately, but it's usually a couple times a month where we have essentially like our ISU or members. They'll do a bunch of investigating to see essentially like, hey, where's the next street race? Where's the next street race to take it or be? And then we'll have, instead of having maybe 4 or 5 cops looking after these people, we'll have like 50. And usually what we do is we essentially, especially with the airship helping us, we'll do a containment around them. And then we'll have, without exaggeration, we'll take like 100 of those cars. Yeah, so we do those deployments, and those are very successful. We'll have the tow trucks literally on standby. Because you need a lot of tow trucks, right? So that's the next day. And all those people, they do get charged, you know, so that will be on the record. Even just being a spectator is arrestable.
Okay, one more question. Andy, let's say, ask the question. Well,
You know,
Obviously, I really appreciate the great job that the CP and that was a great job and keeping us safe and enforcing the law. So if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, we now have a large amount of accidents and death. They're unbelievable statistic. So given that unbelievable statistic, what would you say is the most important action of the leader of driving the problem? That's for accidents.
Yeah, that's a great question. The number one is gonna be DUI drivers, right? So there's accidents all the time, but generally the ones that cause fatality will be driving under influence. And when I say driving under influence, it's alcohol. It's not just alcohol. It could be cannabis, it could be all sorts of cocaine, it could be any sort of drug. That generally is the cause of fatality. An associated factors that would be speed, right? Because you can be drunk, you can get involved in traffic, going 5 miles an hour, and then you can car from you, and you won't die, you know. But it's that speed. Once usually, generally, not all the time, generally, we have those fatalities at night because the roadways are more open. So those same DUI drivers are driving at higher rates of speed. A lot of times they're driving the wrong way. So that's a big one we get is wrong way drivers. So they're so high essentially that they don't even realize they're doing wrong. And that happens quite often. So one thing too before I've done is if you ever see something, say something, you know, it's never too small. I mean, I'm talking even if there's just somebody weak, you know, feel free to call it in. It's never calling to us. I know a lot of people like, I didn't know I could call this, but definitely call it helps us. There's an officer in the area. They're definitely be able to look out for these drivers. And one thing I was taught was, you know, the public is concerned, like, hey, this person's driving this outrageous. You know, you guys aren't specifically trained to look for these things, so that they must be driving pretty bad. Because a lot of us, you know, we're kind of used to this stuff, but if it's egregious, definitely call in, and we'll try to get you out there.
Is there a special phone number we should call?
I'll send you that phone number, because you can always call 911, and then they'll ask you, hey, what's the emergency, and then you tell them, hey, and they'll dispatch you to the right spot, but I can get you an emergency, or you should just pencil it.
Great.
Just one quick question, one quick question. What do you do about people throwing litter out of the parks? Because I see it, I'm so pissed off. Sorry. Others of mine, that I used to do, but
Yeah, it's hard because it's one of those things where, no, you're right, it's in the vehicle code, that's a solid ticket, you know, if you see it, we can stop it, but it's just hard because generally, they don't do that. Yeah, it's like what we call an infraction, right? CHP and just police in general, we're not able to cite somebody based off of, hey, you called it in, so we can try to take it. Now, if it was like a felony, then that's a whole separate thing, but I say all that to say, unless it's committed in our presence, we can't really do a citation. With that being said, I have had somebody that was dumb enough to draw a liquor bottle in front of me, I stopped them and they were DUI. So it happens, they're very smart if they do that, but
can you film it?
they don't. Yeah,
No, and I film it and send it to you guys.
you could, but
But I'm
it's,
not saying you.
yeah, because if it's an infraction, then we're not allowed to, it's literally on the ticket, we're not allowed to write an infraction. Based off of basically citizens, you know. Cause it's not the rest of the thing, if that makes sense.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Take it over.
So, well, thank you very much, Officer Salas. Officer Roque, thank you both for being here today and having. Diane's over here. Charles? Oh, maybe when you was, oh.
Steve needs to be protected.
Arrested. Good. Charles, can you share with the club why you're with them in
So what I'm wearing is the blue BU tactical uniform. It's an optional uniform for the highway patrol if we're working special detail. Sometimes you'll see some officers wearing it. Commercial units wear it, canines. If it's raining, they have us wear the uniform. Or if an officer's working at homeless encampment detail, we also wear this uniform. So it's protest as well. So if you saw officers that you see already, they were all wearing probably the blue uniform during that time.
Charles, you earned the right to the secrecy of this. You spoke, it's wonderful. I'll go back to the station. It's so much. Thank you. Okay, take care. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Tia, we'll move on. The next slide. Oh, there we are. Next week, Wendy Caldwell will be back. And you might remember Wendy last year brought a student from UCLA, a soprano. She sang some beautiful songs last year. Wendy will be back. And can you share some, with the group a little bit about what Wendy and I think her husband are planning next Thursday?
No, I really don't so much about it, but they have one of the young singers, bass, who I think they're gonna bring over, who may sing a few songs.
Yeah.
And then Don, I like that, may have some kind of presentation, something like that, so it'll be musical and maybe something else.
Do we need to have piano brought in?
Oh.
Better check.
Okay.
No, I don't know if they're gonna big ones.
You can check with their hour, maybe it's not that information. We can, or I can just ask.
I'll contact.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Steve, you're talking about songs, is there gonna be a song song?
we might have a swan song, so hopefully I have a swan song. And anyway, so that will be here next week. Week after that, or next 2 weeks after that, the
27th and the 4th, 27th of June and the 4th, we are dark. And then July 11th is President-elect Ben's first meeting.
As
President of this club, it was a fast year, it was fast year, it's been great, thank you very much for the opportunity to be president once again. Anyway, so the last slide is Martha Washington's birthday today. She would have been almost 300 years old, like, she said, and this is really. Honestly, when I read this later, I thought of Marcia. Because Marcia's point of view was so amazing. This challenge that's in front of her, she's really got a great attitude, and I know she's gonna be better. The greater part of our happiness and misery depends on our disposition and not upon our circumstances. Being your president, I am ending this meeting right now. Thank you very much.
Very good.